Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about Uranus retrograde. And yes, Uranus retrograde did begin on August 20th, 2021, but it goes until January 17th, 2022. So we have plenty of time with these energies. And so this video is late, but it's really not. Remember, time is an illusion anyway. We're going to be in the thick of this for a while. So we're going to talk about these energies, what we can expect, which with Uranus is really the unexpected. Uranus is the planet of chaos, the planet of change, the planet of divine inspiration and redirection. And so, if Uranus represents chaos in its forward motion, it represents possibly more chaos in its retrograde motion. It's really difficult to say, but it's really fun to play around with these energies. When we're talking about retrogrades, what we're talking about is when a planet appears to be moving backwards in the sky from our position and vantage point here on Earth. And because we're perceiving it from this vantage point, we perceive the energies in a different way. And so the retrogrades tend to be a more introverted process. They tend to be a process where we're going inside, we're going internal, right? Where things sort of switch and flip around for a time. And so we experience this differently with different planets. All planets go both retrograde and direct at different times throughout the year. Not all planets go retrograde every year, but the collective planets always do. And a lot of the personal planets, we have Mars and Venus who go once every 18 months to 2 years. They tend to be direct more than the rest. Of course, we know Mercury goes about 3 times a year, typically. So it's not an unheard of thing to be experiencing a retrograde, but it is a different way to experience the energies. It's a time of reevaluation where we're seeing things from a different perspective. And Uranus, of course, is all about perspective, being the higher octave of Mercury. It's very much a mind energy, but it's the energy of the higher mind. And so we're working with the energy of Uranus. We're also receiving a lot of downloads. I feel a lot of downloads coming throughout this Uranus retrograde that really help us get a deeper understanding of ourselves, a deeper understanding of the world, and a deeper understanding of our place in it. Remember, Uranus is an energy that rules Aquarius. And so it is that game-changing energy. It is that energy that connects us with the higher realms of consciousness, with other higher beings, you might want to say. I don't know that I like using the word higher because it makes it sound like there's a hierarchy, but beings of different dimensions of consciousness, we'll put it that way. It gives us more access to those. It gives us more access to that divine inspiration. And it really helps us to see, remember, Aquarius energy, and we are entering that age of Aquarius, right, is all about innovation. It's all about leadership. It's all about the collective and really understanding that we're part of a collective and that all of our actions contribute to that collective consciousness. So it's a major radical shift in collective consciousness that we're experiencing with this Uranus retrograde. We're going to see a lot of shifts. We're going to see a lot of changes. A lot of people really being called to step into their authenticity, to step into their truth, to step into their power, and to share that, to really step into and embody our light. Right? So this is really, really beautiful. And it's going to be a process that looks a little bit different for everyone. In this video, we're going to do a reading where we get into the collective energies as well as the individual energies, because there's a lot of individual energies. These outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they are what's known as collective planets. They represent a collective energy. However, Uranus during this retrograde is going to be making a lot of really strong aspects to our personal planets. And by personal planets, I mean the sun, the moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus. These are the planets that really bring together the essence of who we are and how we understand ourselves to be. Right? So when we have these intense conversations with our inner planets, it shows that there's going to be a huge inner revolution going on as well as an outer revolution. So a lot shifting and changing in our inner worlds. This Uranus retrograde starts out with a trine to Mercury and Mars, and then it moves forward. It aspects our sun and our moon as well as we're moving forward through this retrograde. I believe during, and I just did a video on the new moon, so you think that I would remember the exacts, but I believe it was right around that new moon that we had that trine to the sun and the moon. And then we're also, yes, it was. And then we're also going to see it playing a big part in one of the moons later on this month. Yeah, the Scorpio new moon. We're going to have Uranus in an opposition to the sun and the moon during that new moon. So, and that's a little bit more of a tense aspect with that Scorpio energy, especially. That's going to be a game changer as far as the shifting of and transformation of our personal energies and the way we see and understand and know ourselves. So, yeah, a lot happening with us personally as we move through this Uranus retrograde that's really asking us to step up to the next level of our evolution, to the next level of our consciousness, and really bringing forward a lot of deep insights. We may expect a lot of tower moments as we move through this Uranus retrograde, both in the world at large and, like we said, in our own personal lives. Remember, we are the microcosm and the macrocosm is the collective. And so everything that's experienced internally is also mirrored out externally, right? Like we see it played out on a larger scale in the world, but we're all going through these shifts individually as well. I feel like I just said the same thing like 5 times, but you guys know. Yeah, by now, like sometimes we say things multiple times just to really drive the point or the message home because it needs to be heard. All right, we're going to get right into this. So we're going to do collective energies. Tell me about the collective energies of this Uranus retrograde. Bringing us right through into the new Muggle year. Collective energies, what's going on collectively with this Uranus retrograde? Okay, so we have disruption. This is the tower. This is this energy that we were just talking about, right? Uranus, they say in the tarot that Mars represents the tower, but it's very Uranian energy, the tower, right? Comes out of left field, not expecting it a lot of times. And then we have that coming out with emotional loss, which I believe would be the 5 of Cups. And so there are possibly going to be situations coming up collectively where people are going to have things are going to shift rapidly. Things are going to be moved out of the collective reality. And there's going to be, this feels to me like awareness too, right? Because the tower can be realizations and Uranus is all about realizations. So this is like things exposed, things happening that collectively cause a great sense of loss. This could be outer events. This could also be disclosure, information that comes to light that the collective is not necessarily prepared for. Remember, there's a lot of the collective right now who still live in illusion. There's so much that is not really understood. There's a lot of this fear programming that's being pumped into the collective. There's a certain narrative that the collective is being fed. And it's not just like the narrative of the recent events, okay? This goes way beyond that. There is so much misinformation that the collective has been fed about pretty much everything, right? And so this is some of that awakening energy of realizing of some of those that misinformation coming to light, some of those lies being revealed, and just a heaviness in the collective. But you notice in this emotional loss card, see the spiral coming out from his heart and connecting to the light? This is like, this process is what ultimately connects the collective energy to the light, right? It's an evolution. And so what's experienced as a loss of sense of security, a loss of safety, a loss of trust, right? Ultimately leads to this beautiful illumination. It's that awakening process. So the collective really going through an awakening, feeling as though they've lost a lot. And possibly being in an energy for some of this where it's more focused on what they've lost. Remember, this is the 5 of Cups. So needing people to show them and remind them how much they've gained. So the collective energy is really going to need those of us who understand what's happening to really hold the light for them, and to be there to share our experience. Yeah. Yeah, lots of things. It's like the energy that we know and understand, right? Which is when something's removed, it's because something better is on its way. But there's a lot of people that don't understand that. And so when they lose these things, and some of this may be material, some of this may be people, loved ones, but it also feels larger than that. It feels like the sense of trust that they had in institutions, the sense of trust that they had in the media, right? The sense of trust in all these things. As they begin to lose that, they don't understand that that's making way for something better necessarily. So they need us to remind them and to show them. And yeah, then what do we have coming out? The light. Okay? Just like we said. This is light, this is illumination. I believe this is the star. This represents the star card in the traditional tarot, okay? So it makes way for all of this beautiful light. It's like these painful experiences, these painful collective experiences that really, it's like a bursting open of the heart chakra is what I feel, a major collective heart chakra opening. But you see how he's holding his hands over the heart chakra and he's not looking extremely trusting. He's kind of like looking a little guarded. There's going to be resistance to that illumination, to that heart chakra opening, to the pain, right? But that pain is the gateway. That pain is sort of what causes the fissure that allows the light to come in. And for many of us, right, we're holding that light. We are holding that hope. Yeah. So huge awakenings in the collective. And then we have a whole new cycle of love, of emotional, of fulfillment, right? So that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Right? Because it's making way for an energy where we pour from this cup together, right? It's like the rainbow after the storm. You can't have a rainbow without rain. So it's really this beautiful energy of coming together that I'm feeling here. Yeah. I love how we have love and light here. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this love begins here. This Ace of Cups energy. And remember, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus and has been for quite some time. So this is about what we value, what has meaning for us, right? This is, yes, about finances, and it's about security in the outer world. It's about all of that material stuff. But deeper than that, it's about self-love, which is a big energy with this Ace of Cups energy. The self-love energy. This, how do we value and love ourselves? What else do we value and love? What is important to us? So it's a huge shifting in our value system. So it's like a deeper level of self-love that then can extend to love of others, right? Because it all starts with the self that is being offered to the collective right now. Tell me more about this Ace of Cups for the collective. We have victory and success, Six of Wands. And we have rejoice and celebration, Three of Cups. All right, that's gorgeous energy. So this is, I love it. So this is basically the energy right here of love. Love wins, right? Love is the trump card. Love trumps all. So there's this beautiful victory, this beautiful rejoicing and celebrating. So there is going to be loss, but there's going to be so much gained from that loss. Yeah, it's like he's just up here blowing his trumpet, sounding the horn, right? That is beautiful energy. Oh my God, yes. See? That's what comes out of the darkness, is the light, right? See the difference in these two cards. But one facilitates the other. As we move through this next spiral of our heart evolution, really learning a lot about love. The collective is going to be learning a lot about love. What does love really mean? Right? Where have it's like some people are going to be realizing how much they let fear take the reins. And then learning how to move back into their hearts. Being brought back into their hearts. It's like realizing and seeing this division and separation for what it is. A smokescreen, right? Oh, this is amazing. I wasn't expecting this. And is all of this going to transpire during Uranus retrograde? We don't know. It could be that Uranus retrograde is setting the stage for this. There are so many timelines and so many possibilities, but this is a beautiful timeline that we're tapping into right now. And then we have moving on the bottom of the deck, Six of Swords. Moving on to calmer waters, calmer mental waters, right? Swords are all about the mental body. Yeah. From one season into another, right? Darkness into light again. Moving out of the darkness and into the light. I really love that. And then we have rest and rejuvenation, Four of Swords, coming out with the universe, the world. So there is going to be a time of healing. It's like this card, right? This is like Uranus in its feminine form right here. Coming through, bringing this healing to the planet right now. Bringing this healing, these divine light codes. These downloads, this information. This higher knowledge. And this incredible opportunity for healing. Healing of the planet too. Like, you notice how he's in the forest here. So I definitely feels like healing with our connection to the planet, which makes sense because Taurus does represent the physical universe too, right? So this is definitely a nature. So bringing a lot of healing energy to the planet, and we're all being called during Uranus retrograde to really channel as much of this energy coming through us to the planet and share it with her as possible. But it's, yeah, just a huge energy of healing. I'm really feeling this energy of healing the divide. Yeah. Which is really, that's interesting. Tell me more. Base chakra. So root chakra right here. This is our sense of security, stability. Right, this is our primal nature. When the root chakra is out of balance, this is when we experience this energy, this fear of not having enough, the scarcity fears, right? The lack mentality. So really healing being brought to the root chakra. It feels like the root chakra of the planet almost. And that's really interesting too, because I'm fairly certain that Mount Shasta is considered the root chakra of the planet. So, anyone who has been drawn to Mount Shasta, who's felt that energy calling them, there may be incredible healing for you there. But this is also that energy. When I see these two cards together, that really makes me think of the higher realms and the lower realms, bridging heaven and earth. So there's going to be a lot of messages coming through. I think a lot of downloads and a lot of messages to bridge heaven and earth. Really showing us how we can do this. Right? Because there is, I mean, clearly what we're being shown here, I think the reason we're being shown this is because there is a path forward. Right? This divide that we're seeing and experiencing, this illusion of separation, can be healed. That's possible. I feel like there's a lot of us out there right now who feel kind of frustrated with that. Where we're like, is the collective energy ever going to shift? Right? Like, are we forever going to be sounding this trumpet to deaf ears? You know what I mean? And so I feel like we are receiving assistance in healing that divide. That's what it feels like. Oh, that was intense. Anything else here? Whoa. All right, we got the Hermit coming out. This is Virgo energy, right? Solitude. Yeah, so this is really tapping into internal guidance. Taking that time out to be quiet. That's when we're going to receive the most. Right? I'm seeing this one star up here. And it's making me think of the North Star. It's making me think of guidance. It's also kind of making me think of Sirius a little bit. But there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom coming through. But it comes through in solitude. So we're going to need to take that time for ourselves. Remember, we talk about retrograde planets. There is that internal energy. So it's reminding us to focus on the internal. To not focus so much on the external and what's happening, but to go inside. To go into that quiet place. And to know and remember the power of our internal state and how that can shift energy. Right? We're going to be, it's like I'm seeing like this huge lightning bolt, right? This huge surge of energy that we're all receiving. Yeah, this huge surge of energy that we're all receiving. But in order to fully utilize that energy, we have to be calm, we have to be centered, we have to be grounded. Yeah, it's really interesting how she's reading this book, right? So once again, the knowledge, the energy of knowledge coming through. What has been written. But notice she has a page with writing on it, and there's also a blank page. There's also an empty canvas. If you are receiving communication, if you are receiving downloads, if you are, whatever it is that you're receiving throughout this Uranus retrograde, write it down. Record it. This is also that energy that says we are writing We are writing the story right now. So let's stop paying so much attention to what everyone is telling us is happening or going to happen, and start understanding that we are the conscious creators of this process. And so how do we want to write that story? Is this the story we want to write? Start writing that story right now. Because that story starts with us, right? Being the way showers. Are we playing into this paradigm of separation and division, or are we not? Are we seeing beyond that? Then we have firm foundation. 4 of Pentacles coming out. And it's so funny because we're talking about Mount Shasta, and then there's a mountain right there. And this is the same. This is that root color, right? This is building that firm foundation for the new earth. Still on the bottom of the deck here. All right, let's get some energy for, what do I want to do here? I do want to pull some of those, but let's get some energy for the clear. Individual, what is going on personally for us during this Uranus retrograde? We got the collective energies. Those are powerful. Those are powerful. It's like history being rewritten is almost what it feels like. Timelines being changed and rewritten. And so focusing on this beautiful, brilliant timeline that we pulled up here, right? All right, what are we going to be experiencing individually? And obviously this is still individually for this collective, right? That's watching these videos. Okay. We got the Page of Pentacles coming out. First card. Got the King of Wands coming out. All right. So this is a fresh start. This is a new beginning, right? Pages represent youthful energy. They represent beginnings. They also represent messages sometimes. Tell me more. Got the Two of Cups. Okay. With this King of Wands energy here, there's definitely passion. So some of us may be experiencing a renewal of passion. Messages of love, possibly. Coming together. And notice how they're pouring all of this rainbow light, this rainbow water into these cups. Yeah, so possibly new relationships or the resurrection of relationships, of unions. There's definitely an energy of soulmates and counterparts coming in for people. Maybe messages, communication from soulmates, offers. And remember, the Page of Pentacles, this is something small. So this is starting out small. Then we have the Six of Wands coming out again. So victory, triumph, recognition. This is like our love and our worth being recognized. And remember, we always recognize it first, right? We don't need that recognition from an outside source. But I feel like a reflection of. This is also courage and confidence with the lion in the background here. So a surge of courage and confidence during this Uranus retrograde for many of us. Love on the menu for many of us. But this is like a higher state of love. Because we've been through all those old toxic cycles, right? We've completed those and now we're moving into something. And I noticed like he's got this staff here with the fire, right? And then right here, she's got one too. Tell me more. What are we experiencing individually? 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. So this is great, you guys. This is a beautiful reading. Yeah, this is fulfillment of our wishes, our desires. You see the treasure chest that's wide open right here. What is it that you want? What is it that you've desired? What is it that you've put your heart and poured your heart and your soul into? Whatever that is, that's what's developing and coming to fruition during this Uranus retrograde for people. Whatever it is that you've poured your heart and soul into. Seeing the fruits of that. Then we have the Knight of Wands. Lots of Wands action coming out, you guys. Freedom, right? With that horse energy in the background. We got the 10 of Wands here. This feels like moving to me. See how she's all packed up? And she's sort of, it looks like the path she's been walking down has been illuminated by these wands. So really following our passion where it's taking us. Some people may find themselves changing location, changing jobs, changing relationships. Beginning a long journey is what it feels like. But really, and once again, we've got the Mountain, so that's really interesting. Really moving away from what hasn't been serving us, though, and opening our hearts up to more of what does, what is. Interesting. But that Knight of Wands card has a lot of beauty and celebration. All right, so now we get some of the meat here. We got the 5 of Wands coming out. Tell us more about the 5 of Wands. And the Ace of Wands. Ooh. All right, so this is like all fire, you guys, with the 4 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. All right. This is all fire energy coming out here. This 5 of Wands can often be the energy of competition. But this to me feels like seeing the way forward, right? Because it's like, look what they're reaching for. They're all reaching for this. It's right here. So it's like this understanding of how to get to here. For some people too, it might be revealed through this process of really coming to understand what we want. Really coming to a deeper understanding of what it is that we want and how it is that we get it. Is it through this energy of competition? Or can we achieve that same thing even more powerfully by working together? Yeah, but something I'm really feeling here is like, even though these look like different people, I'm feeling this almost as like her going internally and thinking about something that she's been striving to achieve. Like, these are all the different versions of herself that have been climbing, trying to reach this pinnacle, trying to reach this, this might represent people's passion, their purpose, their desire, right? And seeing this process of working and striving to achieve this thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, it feels like this energy of like, I've been going about it all wrong. For some people, it might even be like, I've been chasing something that I had the entire time. Yeah, that's really interesting. Really, really interesting. Yeah, we got a lot of 4 energy. Got the 4 Pentacles, got the 4 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. The base chakra. So there's a lot of interesting how Uranus retrograde is bringing us into a deeper sense of security and a deeper sense of peace. It's like finding the peace amidst the chaos. All of this stuff is coming at her, right? But she is sovereign in her energetic field, in her bubble, and she is at peace. She is calm, she is poised, she is centered. She's not letting those energies. This is like all that fear programming, all of that old divisive energy. She's not paying attention to that. It's like this letting go of drama too. It's like us noticing where in our lives there's been drama and like dropping that, getting rid of that, moving past that, moving beyond that. Moving beyond our attachment to chaos and drama. And then we have the moon. With the 6 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles. So this is once again coming into that much more balanced place. By understanding, once again, we see the 2 wolves, right? By understanding which wolf we're feeding. Were we feeding that wolf that thrives on fear, on separation, on competition? Or are we feeding that wolf that thrives on unity, that thrives on love, on peace, on compassion? Were we feeding the love and the hope, or were we feeding the mistrust and the fear? It's like, I feel like for some people during this retrograde, it's like coming to face with something that we were so afraid of, and that thing losing all of its power, and regaining our sovereignty and autonomy, realizing that the thing that we were afraid of looked so much bigger, felt so much bigger than it actually was. Yeah. And there's that shift in perspective, that rebirth, that transformation. All right, let's see here. Let's get some closing guidance from the Keepers of the Light for this Uranus retrograde. Closing guidance from the Keepers of the Light. What guidance do you have for us as we navigate this Uranus retrograde? It's definitely, I'm feeling that shifting of the value system of what's important, right? That energy definitely feeling very powerful. Like understanding what truly has meaning and what doesn't. What's just background noise. And moving towards the things that have meaning and away from the things that don't. First card out, Commander Ashtar. Call to action, take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. So throughout this Uranus retrograde, that's what we're being called to do, be that example. Commander Ashtar, he is, for many, sort of like one of the captains of our mission and purpose here on the planet. And so he's really calling his troops, he's calling his tribe into action. It's time to be that example, to be that change that you want to see in the world, to walk your talk. Because others are looking to you to be that example. You are that example, whether you're consciously intending it or not. And so pay attention to what you do. Pay attention to what you think, what you say, what you do. Step up into your role as a way shower. Then we have Cthulhu, Cloak of Wisdom, coming out. You already know the answer you seek, trust what you know. So this is our own wisdom, our own connection to our innate divine intelligence being strengthened during this Uranus retrograde. Really trusting what's coming through. Trusting it and living it, right? And Mary Magdalene coming out. The teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. What do you have to share? What truth do you have to share with the world? What is it that you have to teach? Right? The teacher within each one of us, really awakening to a deeper level. Us understanding that we all have something to give. So don't silence yourself. Allow yourself to shine. Share. If you feel called to share, whatever it is that you feel called to share, you're feeling called to do so for a reason. So pay attention to that. That voice, our inner voice, is going to be getting so incredibly strong. And it's going to get to a point where it's going to be so uncomfortable not to follow that. So incredibly uncomfortable. Yeah, Mary Magdalene offering to be that guide for you as you step into your role as a way shower, as a teacher, as you find the courage and the confidence to share what it is that you came here to share with the world. And I'm feeling it's like she's saying too right now as I'm saying this, like, many of you, it's your heart is what you have to share. So don't be afraid to share your heart and share the truth that's within your heart. Share the love that's within your heart. Yeah. The lilies and the roses here really standing out to me. Yeah, so don't be afraid to share your heart. Don't be afraid to share that beautiful love that you have within you. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful message coming out there. Yes, then we have Mercury, open communication, coming out with Diana, focused intention. So speaking our intentions into being. Very powerful. Very potent during this Uranus retrograde. Speak up with love and be heard, okay? Think about what you desire. Talk about what you desire as though it already is. Be open to the different ways of communicating with people. Really working on our communication skills. That's how we heal this divide, right? Through successful heart-centered communication. So this is really like focus. That's why they're saying throughout this whole reading, right? Focus on that highest timeline during this Uranus retrograde, because we can move We can surf through timelines so easily and effortlessly. Focus on that highest timeline for humanity. Focus on unity. Focus on togetherness. Remember, those of you who watched that 9/9 portal video, we ended the duality, the paradigm of separation. We've entered the paradigm of unity. But that old reality is still, that echo is still present. It's still there. It's still trying to pull us back in, so don't let it. Focus your intention on what you know to be true. Expect these blessings, right? Speak and act as if those blessings are yours, because they are. Whenever you need to have a conversation with somebody, set your intentions for that conversation beforehand. Set the intention for the highest possible outcome for you and all involved. There's going to be a lot of communication happening during Uranus retrograde. Remember, like we said, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. We also have the final Mercury retrograde happening during Uranus retrograde. So a lot of people, things that have been building up inside that we haven't had the courage to say, really coming to the forefront. But we want to be very intentional with these conversations and with any information that we are receiving, that we are revealing and sharing. Yeah. And then once again, on the bottom of the deck, we have Master Buddha, increased awareness, deep connection, trust your inner voice. So really coming into a deeper level of trust within ourselves. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Some very interesting energies for this Uranus retrograde. And of course, we're going into January of 2022, you guys. So this is a long retrograde. It is a powerful one. So just navigate these waters as best you can from your heart space, right? Be that example. Know and understand that any darkness revealed is only making the way for more light. For more truth, more awareness. And it's that awareness that allows everything to shift. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling about these energies. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to do so. My email is also down below with a different list of the services that I offer. If you would like any personal assistance at this or any time, please reach out to me. If you don't know what you need, just let me know what's going on and we can figure out where to go from there. I love you so much. I appreciate each and every single one of you. You are so incredibly beautiful and powerful, and I am so grateful to be walking this journey with each and every one of you.